Welcome to the Write, Publish, Market podcast. If you're a business owner thinking a book would be a great marketing asset for your business, you're in the right place. Maybe you've already committed, even better. I'm your host, Jodi Brandon, book publishing strategist and partner for business owners, CEOs, and entrepreneurs, and 20-plus year veteran of the book publishing industry. On the Write, Publish, Market podcast, in addition to learning from me and other industry experts, you'll hear from other business owners about their experiences as we explore all facets of writing, publishing, and marketing a book that will help your business grow in ways you might not even be dreaming of yet. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Welcome back, business owners. We are talking today about sustainable book marketing. You know you need to market your book. You hopefully know that that's going to look different for you than it does probably a traditional author that you might have been following, seeing what they're doing. I have talked before about long-term marketing on the podcast. I'm going to link a couple episodes in the show notes, specifically episodes 179 and 143. We talk about this. We're revisiting it today, though, because it's such an important topic. And I see so many authors, specifically business owner authors, leader authors, CEO authors, entrepreneur authors, who are just getting stuck, getting burned out, feeling overwhelmed by book marketing. It's not the piece of the puzzle that you love. Understatement of the year, probably. But it is important, and you know that. So you want to build a marketing plan that both works for you and for your book and for your business. And you need it to be sustainable because this is a product that is out there in the world now. So you want it to work for you so that your book will work for you in the way that you intend. I'm hoping that this episode will serve as a reminder to you that sustainable book marketing can be more effective than you probably think right now. It can also be quieter than you think right now. You do not have to be quote unquote on all the time. So always on marketing is not realistic. It's not realistic for really even a professional author probably wants a break from that. But as a business owner, absolutely not realistic, right? We need to align our marketing efforts with our capacity for marketing for our book, as well as other things we have going on in our business, as well as our life. We weren't meant to be professional book authors marketing our books 24/7. So we need to think about what the real differences look like there. So, and this is a both plan. It's not an and or plan. So I want you to think about the difference in energy that you need, like launch energy when the book is first published. Now, then you do need to be on, obviously, just like anything else that you're launching in your business, versus that sort of maintenance energy once the book is out there, you are post-launch. What does that look like? You absolutely need both. You need a plan for both of these times, but I don't want you to think of them the exact same way. The launch is its own sort of beast. As we all know, anybody who has ever launched a product, a service, a course, a program, a book, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, any of the things that we launch in our business, launch time looks different than post-launch time. It is the same for a book. So we want to keep that in mind. You want to build your marketing plan for the long term, separate from what you're doing for your launch. Obviously, the two need to complement one another, as does everything in your business. But you want to really think about that long-term marketing plan as its own thing. That's what will make it sustainable for you. So what you want to think about, certainly see what other people are doing. What's working for other people? That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. By looking at what other people are doing, you can see, oh, I really like what so-and-so did with their book launch. Oh, I really like how so-and-so is still talking about their book 3 months later, 6 months later, 1 year later. Then you can figure out what you want to try, what kind of experiments you want to run, what kind of marketing tasks you want to do that work for you, your book, and your business. That's why a lot of the traditional marketing advice doesn't work for business owners, because we're not using our books in the same way. We're not trying to focus on getting our book into retail outlets and book sales. Our book revenue comes differently. We talk about book ROI a lot on this podcast and in my day-to-day life. Tangible ROI, intangible ROI, there's a real difference there. And our goals look very different, almost always, from a professional author's goals. So you want to think about not only what marketing activities will look like, but what your goals are and how your book is fitting into your business. And then you can figure out what's going to work. And there is experimentation here. We've got to trust the data, but we can't get that data without experimenting. So I'm hoping that all of this is probably not new, but just sort of a refresher, a refresher in the new year about what this looks like. So there's different ways to think of this, right? I said before, it's a both plan, not an and or plan. You've got seasons of promotions and seasons of, dormancy, for lack of a better word. You can also think of this as, active versus passive marketing. So when you're actively marketing, when you're in a promo period, you're on social media, you're making lots of posts, you're going live, you're doing interviews, you're guesting on other people's podcasts, all of those sorts of things that, frankly, to a lot of us sound exhausting. But then you've got those other periods, right, where you can be more passive, where you can sort of, take a more hands-off approach and you're doing other things in your business at that point. Maybe you're reposting content from your launch period or a heavier marketing period. Maybe you've got an evergreen funnel. I mean, the beauty of an evergreen funnel is you don't have to be actively marketing, but book marketing is still happening. So those are the sorts of things that you're looking for, where the book can still be marketed, but you aren't actively doing any work right then. Hey there, business owner and aspiring or published author. Sorry to interrupt this episode. Just wanted to check in and see if you're subscribed to Coffee and Commas, my email newsletter, where I share behind the scenes, industry info, and much more about writing, publishing, and marketing a book for your business. Sign up at bit.ly/coffee and commas sign up. That's all lowercase. Now back to the show. So now let's take a step down, more granular level. What does this look like day to day as a business owner? So many approaches here. And it's going to look different for you than it looks for me, than it looks for anybody else. So some people like to do a little something every day, 10, 15 minutes, engaging with posts on social media, making a post, things like that. Some people like to take a more hands-off approach more often with the book, build a funnel, and then maybe do a bigger quarterly, monthly promo push. I tend more to the latter than the former there because I have a funnel built around my book. So the book is sort of doing its thing while I don't have to be talking about the book 24/7. Obviously, I still need to be talking about the book. Make sure that people know that you wrote a book. They don't know it if you don't talk about it, put it in your email signature. Do those simple, easy things, have a copy of it behind you when you're on video calls, on the top of the bookcase or credenza or whatever. That way you're not really talking about it, but it's always there. And it's just, sort of subliminally doing the work for you. I prefer, though, that sort of approach and then to do, like a quarterly bigger push where I'm sending out pitches to be on guest podcasts and I'll do a little mini promo push. Sometimes that will go with some kind of giveaway or contest or extra freebie or something that's coming with it. Maybe I have an extra resource, that I can talk about while I'm promoting the book. Maybe I've updated the resources page that goes with the book or the workbook that accompanies the book, things like that. Obviously, endless options here. Maybe there's a new bundle that you can offer with your book with some kind of new resource that gives you an excuse to start talking about the book again. Please understand that I'm saying you don't need an excuse to talk about your book. You should be talking about your book all the time, regularly, full stop. But recognize that as a business owner, you have other things to be talking about also, versus a professional author who is talking about this book until their next book is written and they're promoting that book. That's not what your life looks like. You have a business to promote. You have other products and services and courses and programs and resources to promote. So your attention can be all over the place, which is why those focused periods of active marketing and promotion work for a lot of business owners. So again, this episode mainly is to serve as a reminder to sort of prevent that overwhelm that I see every single day and hear about every single day from business owners who talk about how exhausting book marketing is. And it can be that way if you let it be that way. But if you build a plan that allows your book marketing to be sustainable over the long term, and you don't confuse that launch period activity with what you have to be doing forever, you will be a lot happier your book will probably do better, will serve your business better, and your business ecosystem will be happier. So until next time, friends, please remember that this is not an either or situation. You are building a both long-term, sustainable, active and passive book marketing plan. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Write, Publish, Market podcast. I know just how busy business owners and CEOs' schedules are, and I'm grateful you've taken some time out of yours to spend with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, take a quick screenshot and share it on social to let others know you're listening. Use the hashtag WritePublishMarket to spread the love.